Hello to everybody joining us on IMSA TV as well. It's John Hindhaugh and the team. Good to have your company. Let's head down to Shea Adam, who's in the pit lane for us. In fact, we'll do that in just a moment after I've reminded you where we are. It's Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, just outside Bowmanville, Ontario, just up the road from Oshawa, which is on the lakeside. Big GM area around here. 10 superbly testing corners, just about a bit of everything here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, on a track that's been, well, since the early 1960s, been pretty much exactly as it is right now. It's got a great character and provides a stiff challenge for teams, engineers, tyre technicians, and particularly for the drivers. Set down at Shea Adam in the pit lane straight away before we get our qualifying sessions underway. Two 15-minute sessions, one for GTs, one for prototypes. And this morning, Shea Adam, we had an issue for the Lexus of Ben Barnicoat, went off at turn 3. What's the update?
Well, you can hear the gentle rumble of a Lexus engine in the background of my microphone. That is the 12, the sister car. Frankie Montecalvo will be qualifying that. The 14 lives once again, and should the car pass tech and be cleared to go back out for qualifying, Ben will be the driver tasked to take the car out around the 2.5 miles of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Now, when I last passed it, it was rolling through tech. That was about 5 minutes ago, and the crew members are here up on the pit wall with sticker tires. We are going to see that machine here in a couple of seconds, and Ben will get his opportunity to get back on the horse today with qualifying duties.
And Jeremy Shaw, actually, there are 3 sessions of 15 minutes because although the GT cars are together, because essentially they're the same cars, the same balance of performance, we will actually split the prototypes up, presumably because the GT3s are quite a bit slower than the DPIs. Yeah,
the LMP3 cars are indeed quite a long way behind the DPIs in terms of ultimate pace, well, 6-7 seconds at least, and it'll be the non-pro drivers who qualify in LMP3 as well. Those are the regulations for the Pro-Am categories, GTD and LMP3. So, yeah, it does make sense to split the sessions up. And no excuses then for drivers in any of the classes, really, for having any traffic problems.
Well, you say that, Jeremy, but as you... it sounds, it always, somebody will find a group of cars somewhere, won't they?
Yes, absolutely right. But yeah, there's only 6 cars on the track for both of LMP3 and DPI. Really don't want to hear it. And you know, you certainly could get a bit of a draft around here, which could pick up some speed. But the only team that's really in a position to do that would be Cadillac Racing, and I don't think it would be. I would be surprised if we saw the 2 Cadillacs doing that in the later sessions. In this one right now, this is going to be no holds barred. Basically, we've seen super tight times all the way through the both practice sessions. We've had one yesterday, one this morning, and it's really down to who can get it all together. I tell you what, I was impressed this morning by Frankie Montecalvo, who was the quickest of all of the GTD cars. He is an AM-rated driver, like in the Pro-Am GTD class, and he was fastest of all of them for most of the session. He was just pipped at the end by Matthew Jaminet, factory Porsche driver, of course, for FAF Motorsports, but Frankie still ended up with the second fastest time in GTD.
Shea Adam, there's no choice for some of the teams as far as their qualifying drivers are concerned, but who have you got in the cars?
I've got all of the cars, so I'll start from the pit out end of things. For FAF, it is Matthew Jaminet, or Jam Jam, as his Canadian hockey jersey has been saying today, with the FAF plaid livery. Right behind them will be the 14. I've already told you that's Ben Barnicoat. Frankie Montecalvo in the 12 Lexus. For Team Corvette, that is the 3, Jordan Taylor behind the wheel there. For the Heart of Racing Aston Martins, we've got Alex Riberas, pole sitter here back in 2016 in a Porsche, and the 27, Roman DeAngelis, in that Aston Martin. 79 is Cooper McNeil in the Mercedes-Benz, and the 25 BMW is John Edwards. I believe that wraps up our Pro class. And for AM, for GTD regular, if you will, Robbie Foley is the pole sitter from 2019. He's going to try and do it again in the Turner Motorsports BMW. That's the Taco machine, back in its yellow and blue livery. We've got Russell Ward in the Windward Racing Mercedes, the number 57. That is Madison Snow saying hello. Well, not really, but in the Paul Miller Racing BMW. Aiden Reed is the driver in the Acura. That is the Rick Ware Racing machine, and I think that's all of them.
And everybody rolling pretty quickly. We've got a couple of cars that still haven't rolled out. Some of the GTDs always seem to be a bit recalcitrant. Corvette are out early here with their Singleton car. Remember, that is the GT Le Mans car, which has been backwards engineered to something close to GT3. Both Corvette and Ford with their GT3 programs in full effect, their bespoke GT3 programs in full effect. We'll see those cars probably early next year, ahead of a full season in either 23 or 24 for those cars. So 15 minutes on the clock, no adjustments to be had, Jeremy. So what these drivers have got, as soon as they pull out, it's all down to the driver. Nothing can be done now by the teams. They've given the driver, that's what you're going to get, son, off you go and drive it.
That's exactly right, John, and effectively park for May conditions from the beginning of qualifying, because you're not allowed to make any changes to the car. You're not even allowed to touch it, anyone other than the driver, until the all clear is given by the IMSA officials after the session has been completed. So yes, get on with it now, boys and girls, and this is going to be fun. It is tight. The Porsche did set the fastest time this morning, and certainly on home ground, just 45 minutes from home for that team. They'll be hoping for a good result here in qualifying. That is in GTD Pro, the championship leader coming into this weekend, and that's the way they want to keep it.
This is another one of the oddities, Jeremy, in terms of how IMSA have arranged their calendars. I really like how they do this and spread out the championships through the year. So in terms of GT Daytona, this is just a round of the Sprint Cup. There's the full championship, there's the Sprint Cup, which are the short races, and there's the Endurance Cup, which are the longer races. This just the Sprint Cup, is that right?
That's exactly right. Yes, indeed. It's round 5 of the Sprint Cup, and the championship has been led by Madison Snow and Brian Sellers in that number 1 Paul Miller Racing BMW for this season, new car for this year, of course. And that's a pretty impressive run, considering the fact they completely missed the first overall round of the season, but they have, of course, done all the Sprint Cup events. So having had to miss Daytona because the car wasn't ready, wasn't delivered from BMW, they're concentrating on the Sprint Cup Series, and currently have a 134-point lead over Robbie Foley and Bill Oblin for Turner Motorsport.
The Lexus, well, no, not that Lexus, but the other Lexus that you hear rumbling away gently in the background is Ben Barnicoat. The 14 has made it out on the pit lane. They are putting sticker Michelin tires on it. It failed tech the first time through on ride height, so they had to make an adjustment and then take the car back through tech. Now it's good to go. Car is about to drop off the air jacks. There we go. And let's see, Ben, you are clear to leave. Waiting for the signal for somebody on the box to be told to go out onto the racetrack, but this is his first time going back out since that incident this morning. It's going to take a bit of a deep breath for him as he goes through 3 for the first time, but I am so glad to see this car out on the racetrack.
Thanks, Shea Adam down there on the pit lane. That's a stout job, actually, by the Vassar Sullivan guys, because it was bodywork at the front, but there was clearly some left-hand front suspension damage from that incident at the exit of turn 3, and that is actually not that long ago, let's be honest. And to get the race car put together, Jeremy, and get it all straight and get the string round it and do the alignment, very smart for them to run it through tech before they went out onto the track. And not have to worry about what happened afterwards. That's really smart work by that team.
Yeah, really was very good coordination down there at the Vassar Sullivan team. They've got plenty of practice, of course, lots of very experienced guys on that crew, and able to get that car out again. Tell you what, doesn't that Paul Miller Racing BMW look fantastic in this Stars and Stripes livery? Special, of course, for last weekend and this July 4th weekend in the US. Of course, we're in Canada, but it was Canada Day yesterday, so that car looks absolutely stunning, I think, in this livery.
Has been down through the years a bit of a tradition that at Watkins Glen and Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the back-to-backs in this area of the world, not an awful long way between them in terms of doing the drive, and what a lovely drive it is, whichever way you go around the lake and across the border, coming up from upstate New York and the Finger Lakes region. But it has been a bit of tradition of having some commemorative liveries, and nice to see that the Paul Miller guys have cracked on with that, kept it a very, very impressive secret indeed. Across the line, and Madison Snow goes to second best GT car and best of the GTDs, improves to a 1:17 flat. Frankie Montecalvo loves this place, says it's his favourite in the number 12 Vassar Sullivan Lexus. That is the GT car, the GTD car. He just goes to best of the GTs and therefore to the best of GTD. Russell Ward to second in Winward. So now it's Lexus from Mercedes, from Corvette, which is the best of the GTD Pro. That's Jordan Taylor, then Robbie Foley, then Madison Snow. And now Porsche to the top. Pfaff Motorsport, so it's Porsche, Lexus, Corvette, Porsche, Lexus, Corvette, Mercedes, BMW, BMW. Two different classes of cars there, and the GTD Pros back on top with Mathieu Jaminet, Jeremy.
Yeah, just about a quarter of a second. In fact, that time by Mathieu Jaminet fractionally outside the time he set earlier this morning in cooler conditions, of course, in that number 9 Porsche 911 GT3R. Car looks great, doesn't it, in that plaid livery. Saw some pretty impressive plaid red pants also on one of the fans up at turn 3 earlier on this morning. Very cool, really getting into the swing of things here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
I'm not going to ask why you were looking at anybody's pants at turn 3 this morning, Jeremy. I think we moved rapidly on from that as we're halfway through the...
Trousers, John, trousers.
Yes, I know that. Just for our international audience. Frankie Montecalvo back to the top. This is going to be a real big swinging match at the front of the field as the number 9 driveway Motul Porsche comes through the final corner across the line, and there is an improvement from Jaminet, and it's good enough to go back to the top. He's still the best of the GTD Pros, 0.007 of a second between Jaminet and the Lexus RCF, and he was right over the exit curb of the final corner. Did he hold on to it? Ooh, I think he did. Still had some part of the right-hand side Michelin tyre inside the curb and the white line, but there was a big dust storm at the back of that car as the left-hand side Michelins were kicking up the dirt.
Yeah, I think that definitely would have cost him a little bit of time there, John. You might be using the track limits and more there, but running onto the grass is not going to improve your lap time, unlike at turn 1 or turn 2, where running wide there over the exit curbing onto the asphalt will likely improve your lap time. So that was a really, really good lap from Mathieu Jaminet. He didn't improve in that final sector on that lap because of running wide on the dirt. But yeah, he's got on with the case there as that factory Porsche driver. Big week for him, of course. Announced last weekend that he will be part of the factory team in the prototypes, the U963 for next season. So Mathieu Jaminet from France, clearly on a high right now.
Yeah, and his teammate Matt Campbell as well. Matty Campbell, the young Antipodean who's come up through the ranks, through the Porsche Carrera Cups around the world. They've promoted quite a lot of GT drivers, Lawrence Vantour in that as well. But bringing back some experience as well. Wrapping up their Formula E programme shortly, and Seb Buemi coming back. Seb Buemi at all, Andre Lotterer, excuse me, coming back from that to be the elder statesman, if you will, of the GTP and LMDH running. 2 cars in IMSA in what will be the GTP category, 2 cars in the LMDH category of hypercar for FIA WEC. Both team Porsche Penske in terms of the entry. If you didn't catch it last week, there'll be also a privateer or customer racing car, I should more properly say it, here in IMSA and in the FIA, and that will be here. It will be JDC Miller Motorsport, their drivers yet to be named. Over in FIA WEC, it will be Team Hertz Jota, and David Clark telling us on Midweek Motorsport on Wednesday, director of Jota, telling us that will be an all-pro entry from the driving standpoint, and that, as I said, Team Hertz Jota, also supported by Singer, the people who take old Porsches and reimagine them into multi-million-pound works of art that you can drive on the road.
Not Norbert then.
No, but interesting that they called it that. I always thought that right from the very start of that.
And the legendary Porsche engineers, Norbert Singer.
Lovely bloke.
Brilliant lap there by Mathieu Jaminet. Did improve last time around at 1:15.468 then to reassert himself at the front of the time charts here in GTD Pro. Frankie Montecalvo, he's in the pits. His qualifying run is completed. A brilliant lap by him, 1:15.633. That is quicker by nearly 0.2 of a second than he managed this morning. Also, a good effort here from Ben Barnicat. He's only 9th overall of all the GTD Pro cars and 5th out of 6 in GTD cars, 5th out of 6 in GTD Pro, but he's already gone quicker than he did this morning despite the off. So good effort from Ben Barnicat. Alex Riberas is the 3rd fastest time, 2nd in Pro, just ahead now, creeping just ahead now in the Aston Martin of Jordan Taylor in Corvette.
It's Jeremy Shaw with me, John Hindhaugh, in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre, coming to the last couple of minutes as we are counting down for the GTD Pro and GTD qualifying into the pit lane for the number 23. That's the heart of racing at Aston. And that'll be no better than 2nd in GTD Pro. However, the GTDs, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy, do the GTDs all just line up GTD Pro and then GTD AM, or is it just as they qualify within the whole class?
It's just as they qualify in class.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it'll be Jaminet and Montecalvo on the front row as we stand right now. We've got 5 of the top 7 already in pits. Top 3, number 9 of Jaminet, number 12 Montecalvo, best of GTDs. Alex Riberas, number 23 Aston Martin, also in the pits. Jordan Taylor, who's 3rd in GTD Pro, 4th overall, is still out on the racetrack in the Corvette, but Roman De Angelis, who is behind him by 0.02 of a second, is still out in the 2nd of the half racing Aston Martins. But it's super tight here. I mean, there's a brilliant lap by Jaminet. Those two are about, 1.5 tenths between 1st and 2nd. Then a tenth, 2.5 tenths back to Riberas. But behind Riberas, the next 8 cars covered by just over 1/10 of a second. Super tight.
As we expect, Jeremy, let's be honest, we're not writing headlines with that. It's not shock horror, is it? Let's be honest.
True that. It is. It's fantastic to see the equitability amongst the GTD ranks. So all the different manufacturers. We've got Porsche, Lexus, Aston Martin, Chevrolet, the top 4 in this session. Then the 2nd of the Astons, then a couple of BMWs, and all of them covered by about a half a second.
Best of the Mercedes is the Russell Ward driven car, 4th in GTD, down in 8th. But even then, that's only half a second away in a, what is it? 75, 76 second lap. That's a very, very small percentage indeed. Cross the line for the BMW of John Edwards. He'll get one more lap. Checkered flag is now out. And just trying to see who got across the line. I think that Ben Barnicourt got across the line to start another lap, but it must have been mighty close. I have to say I wasn't looking down at the starter stand there on driver's left as they crest the brow going down into turn one. Coming to the end of the lap now. This will be his last lap. Russell Ward, is he going to finish the lap? Yes, he is. Turns into the final corner. Gets a nice exit from there and crosses the line. Does not improve.
He doesn't, but he had 3 laps there, all within a tenth of a second, did Russell.
Very good.
16.112 was his last lap. His best was a 16.039, and there was another 16.1 in there as well. So impressive by him. John Edwards did just improve, got himself up to 4th fastest overall, 3rd in GTD Pro in the BMW Team RLL M4 GT3 at a 1:15.899.
And he's got this lap as well, Jeremy. He just crossed the line and he's on one here. The car's moving around and he will complete this lap, so his dashboard must be telling him he's got something close to a chance to improve again as he goes across the line, and it's a 16.1, so it does not quite improve for that. So the 2 cars in the pits, well, they were fairly confident because the Mathieu Jaminet Pfaff Motorsport GTD Pro, the driveway, Haggerty driveway car, is at the sharp end of the queue and at the sharp end of the grid. 1:15.468 against a 15.633 for Frank Montecalvo and the Vassar Sullivan number 12 Lexus. So those are our 2 pole sitters, and they will be shepherded down to Shea Adam at the end of the pit lane. Nothing splitting them. I mean, what was it? A couple of tenths. Pretty impressive. 1/10.5, let's call it. So 2 pole sitters from this session. Let's hand it down to Shea, who's waiting for the drivers to jump out of their cars. 2 very worthy pole sitters, Shea.
Well, for Frankie Montecalvo, he's made no secret about the fact that this is one of his favorite tracks and possibly even your favorite track on the schedule. How good does a pole position feel here?
It's great. This is a track that I really love. It was my first podium in pro racing, and to come out here and put the car up front for the team is great. And I'm, really looking forward to the race because we, qualified P2 last run and, last race, and now we're starting in the front. So it looks really good for us.
What is it about this track that makes you like it so much?
I just love the high-speed corners and just really flowing, and everything is timing here. Very light on the brakes and just trying to carry as much speed as possible.
For you and Aaron, do you think this could finally be the site of the first breakthrough win as a duo?
I sure hope so. We have a great team behind us, and we just had some bad luck, so rolling off in the front, we're looking forward to it.
Good luck, Frankie.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good.
Good job.
Good job, that Jeremy. Yeah. That's absolutely outstanding for those guys. And Frankie has just been on it since he got in the car.
Yeah, his third pole position in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. A couple of them came back in 2020. First one was at Sebring. Second one was at Road Atlanta, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, in the shorter race there. So really fine job by Frankie. He's been absolutely on it all weekend, as you were saying earlier on. His favourite racetrack of all, and he shows it by getting that pole position.
Yeah, and again, make the point that Jeremy did earlier on, that they will start side by side. So Frankie Montecalvo will, as the GTD pole sitter, he's actually got 3 GTD Pro cars between himself and Roman De Angelis. So that's pretty impressive. Quite a decent run for the Canadian teams and the Canadian drivers there, with Roman De Angelis second in GTD for Heart of Racing, and of course Mathieu Jaminet with a Canadian flagged team, and he's with Shea Adam down at the end of pit lane.
Well, and he's been very good at doing the qualifying duties so far this year. Mathieu, another pole position. Does it get any better than doing it on Pfaff's home ground?
Yeah, I mean, that's the best present I can give to the boys. I mean, they were working hard in the last 2 days to make it happen and improve the car. Even after FP2, we're not really sure what we've got. But yeah, they put a really good setup together, and I could put a great lap. So all in all, it's pole position, and definitely happy for the boys and for us starting up front tomorrow.
For you and Matt, this is a new racetrack in terms of racing here. You got to test here, but it's a different place to race. What have FAF given you to try and help you understand the rhythm of it?
I mean, obviously they've got onboards and cameras from 2019. I think last time they raced. This was pretty much it for our preparation. We also watched the last IMSA race there on TV, and then I was here for testing, so I turned a couple of laps, and then for Mattia, he had to get up to speed quickly yesterday, but there was actually no issue for him. He was straight away super fast. So yeah, we see tomorrow. We already saw in practice the traffic is difficult with the P3 and the DPI. So. Let's see how it plays. For sure, we'll have to be a bit careful in traffic.
Good luck, Mathieu.
Thank you.
Mathieu Jaminet. And FAF Motorsport then, pole position for GTD Pro, and will start at the front of the grid in that plaid driveway Porsche. New car course coming, Jeremy, for that team, and for anyone who's running the GT3 Porsches. Got a first proper look at it. I'd seen some spy shots that from the car testing at Spa about 2 months ago, but some proper shots of the car, still slightly disguised, from Porsche, released last week or the early part of this week. They've been working very hard at Weissach at their production facility for the racing cars, not just with the 963, but they've got a job on their hands, because they've got to turn out a whole raft of those cars between now and particularly for IMSA before the end of this year to get them into the hands of their customers.
Yeah, very good point. There's a lot of midnight oil being burned in Germany over the next few months and weeks, but and excited to see, of course, that new car for next year, the first one for GTD or GT3 that's based upon the 992 chassis. The other one's based on 991, this most recent one. But yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement with that new car coming on board next season. The team, Porsche, say they've worked particularly on kind of drivability, and particularly for non-pro drivers, improving some of the driver aids. Boo! But hey, look, that's what sells cars, so you can't I can't begrudge them that.
Well,
sure.
And the thing is, they've got to compete with everybody else's car,
Indeed.
And make it user friendly for the non-pro drivers to want to drive those cars. It looks absolutely stunning, as you might imagine. Very, very aggressive indeed. We'll have more on that as I'm sure those cars start to trickle into the hands of their customers. Shea Adam, we're a couple of minutes away from the LMP3 session, and it will be a solo LMP3 session, so just the 6 cars going out, and this is where there's no choice, Shea, of who gets in the car.
Correct. It has to be bronze or silver under 30, and we don't have a car in this field this weekend with an option of mixing it up. So, to keep it simple, in championship order, we've got the 54 Core Autosport. That will be John Bennett. In the 30 Junior 3 racing machine, that will be Ari Balog. We've got Gar Robinson in the 74 Riley. Who else is down there? Oh, we've got Jarrett Andretti in the 36 Andretti Autosport, and Lance Wilsey in the 33 Sean Creech Motorsport machine. And to wrap things up, saving the best for last as far as this track is concerned, Ori Fidani is in for AWA in their rebuilt machine.
Yes, when we talk about people on home ground, it could not be more of a home ground than for Ori Fidani, who spent a lot of time here down through the last few years. His dad, a part of the ownership group here, along with Ron Fellows, and they have done a sparkling job in very difficult conditions, let's be honest. A lot of track infrastructure, track and infrastructure improvements over the last few years, right up to and including the start of 2020, just before the lockdown struck. And it's great to be back here to be able to experience those. I always remember, Jeremy, when I saw the rendering, the artist's impression of the new, fabulous new clubhouse building on the final corner and thinking, well, that's very nice as an artist impression. I bet it doesn't look like that when it's built. And my goodness, it looked exactly like that. And it is a super facility that houses the new press room, some boardrooms, meeting rooms, and of course hospitality area. And of course is where we, for quite a few years now, have been watching out onto the final corner. Brilliant facility.
Yeah, it is. And again, this is another racetrack which is just making constant improvements, and hats off to the new ownership group here. They've done a really nice job. It's always been a great place to come to go racing, either as a fan or as a competitor, but it's good to see that there are constant improvements being made. And that facility, it's really nice, but it's not obtrusive. It doesn't get in the way of race fans here either, so it's hats off all around.
A process that was started, of course, with the late and much missed Dr. Don Panos, when there was a lot of earth moved down on the left-hander around the bridge. The parapets were pushed back just before, I suppose you call it turn 4 really, just before you head into Moss Corner. And one or two of the barriers pushed back just a wee bit, which in the interest of safety didn't really change the character and the complexity and the challenge of the track at all. That started a very long time ago now. My goodness me, the new ownership group have taken it on even further with the redevelopment of the press room, the pit lane, and various infrastructures as well, including internet and connectivity, which is so important nowadays. Big 2 thumbs up for me, and a beautiful part of the world to come to. Know our way around this area quite well. A lot of very familiar names, of course, to us Brits. When you're looking at places like Whitby and Peterborough. I live 25 minutes away from Peterborough in the United Kingdom. I used to live up in the northeast, so Whitby and Sunderland and those places very much familiar to me. And some very nice places to go and eat and enjoy around this area. Thank you for your hospitality again down through the years, continuing here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. All right, we're off and running. No laps to talk about as yet. Shea has given you the drivers. Now, let's see if they can stay away from each other. Well, they can't. Andretti car actually has just gone sailing past John Bennett in the number 54 flex box. That's the orange, white and blue car that's going round the Moss hairpin now. The Andretti car, which is the white, black and green, has just gone through onto the Andretti straight, the Mario Andretti straight, which is slightly curving actually up towards turn number 8. Who else is in the queue there? AWA I can see on that area of the track as well. Sean Creech Motorsport just coming down through turn 4 into Moss Corner. Bringing up the rear at the moment, but in some good clear air, is the number 74, the Gar Robinson driven Riley. So it will be the number 36 of Jared Andretti who goes across and sets the first time at a 1:14.416. I don't think that'll be good enough for pole position, but that's not a bad opening lap, Jeremy.
No, indeed. Getting on with the case already. The fastest time in the practice sessions so far was set by the pro drivers. Of course, that was Colin Brown at a 1:11.3. This is the first time officially for the LMP3 cars to be here as part of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. So whoever sets the fastest time in this session will set the qualifying record here, which will stand until at least next year. But the fastest time then by Colin Brown was at 1:11.3. Not expecting to get anywhere near that in this session of qualifying.
Yeah, and news coming, if you weren't with us in the earlier session, I understand that you can't always follow every session here, although I know many of you do, and thank you very much, as we've got sound and vision free for you. No subscription required here, all for you, always the WeatherTech qualifying, as Jarrett goes a little bit quicker down to a 13.4. That's a stout improvement, and he's got clear track ahead of him, so getting to the front of the field is a really smart thing to do. The next car on track is just exiting turn 5 at the moment, and that is Gar Robinson. This category of cars will be part of the brand new VP Sports Car Championship for IMSA next year, where LMP3s will be the top class, and what is going to be called GSX, which is the GT4 cars, will be the secondary category. There'll be 2 races per event, 5 events on the season, 10 races, double headers each, 45 minutes, single driver. And that will come into effect next year. We'll find out all about that 5th of August, Saturday night at Road America, when President of IMSA, John Doonan, gives us the state of the sport.
Indeed so. And the fastest lap time set by a non-pro driver in LMP3 in this morning's session was indeed Jared Andretti, who turned at 1:13.711 in this number 36 car for Andretti Autosport. Fastest so far, 1:13.4, so we're already a couple of tenths quicker than that. And right now he's got a full second in hand over John Bennett, who's just edged out but Gar Robinson by about 3/10 of a second.
Ori Fadani was in 4th, just dropped back to 5th as Harry Bailog's just gone across the line in the 30, the Junior 3 Racing Ligier. Fadani in a Duquesne, so different chassis manufacturers on shore here. Duquesne knee Norma, for those of you with a longer memory. The AWA car requiring a bit of remedial maintenance, to say the very least. The 13 car looking a bit pre-loved up until a few days ago. Well done to the team for getting that car back out again, that black and yellow car just going onto the Andretti straight now, Jeremy.
Yeah, indeed. So a big crash for Lars Kern. It was the 3rd driver in that car at Watkins Glen last weekend at turn 1. He lost it and had a big tank slap over the curbs, I think, and lost it and hit the inside fence pretty hard. So great job by Andrew and the rest of the AWA team there to get that car back out again. And they'll be looking to take advantage of that. And, certainly for Ori Fadani, of course, he's his family part of the ownership group here, and looking for a strong run, and that is a good lap so far for him in that number 13 car.
I just love the sound of these LMP3s, the sound of a rumbling V8, whether it's in a saloon or a GT car, or in this case in a purpose-built prototype. There's something that just works very well around these tracks. It does sort of throw me back to, I know, different ideals and different ages, but it just kind of throw me back to Can-Am and the big rumbling motors that you had back in those days. I know that these are very different machines, but it's just right to me, Jeremy, that when you're trackside you can hear these V8s sort of hitting you in the sternum.
Very cool, aren't they? This Nissan VK56, which was brought in for the 2nd generation of LMP3 cars a couple of years ago here in North America. Yeah, they sound fantastic, and they're pretty fleet as well. 1:13.4 is the best time in this session. Improvements last time around for both Gar Robinson and John Bennett. Gar Robinson, who won last week at Watkins Glen in the 6 hours, up into 2nd position now in car number 74, ahead of John Bennett in 3rd position. Ori Fadani up to 4th then, although he's just been pipped by Ari Bailog, so good back and forth between Bailog and Fadani for that 4th and 5th positions.
And that will make a difference to where they start on the grid, of course, 1 row further forwards. We do start the cars in, we do split the DPIs away from everybody else, unless there is or are any post-qualifying infractions or people go to the back of the grids. You could potentially be put to the back of your own class, or perhaps to the back of the prototypes, or indeed all the way to the back of the grid, depending on what the infraction is. That was another quick time there for Gar Robinson, and the 74 car now down to 1:14.082, good enough for 2nd position. Ori Fadani improving last time around, 14.8, 14.4 for Bailog, as Jeremy mentioned. So this is all very impressive. As who's that? That's John Bennett just gone through in a 14.2. It's all very, very tight, Jeremy.
It is, isn't it? And it's getting closer by the minute. Both those second and third place drivers improving each time around. Ari Balog improves as well. He's now within. Well, actually, it's not within. It's point. He's 1/1000th outside, 1/10 of a second behind John Bennett. So Balog improving in that number 30 car, lap on lap, and we've still got 5 minutes remaining. So another 3 laps at least. Probably 4 laps for each of these drivers.
That's Jeremy Shaw alongside me, John Hindhoff, in the Haggerty Global Broadcast Centre. Shea Adam standing expectantly, waiting for the pole sitter. Robinson goes to the top with a 13.388. So that is the Riley Motorsport car. Now inside 1 minute 14, and underneath the previous provisional pole sitter Jared Andretti by 0.081 of a second, not even a full 10th. Gar Robinson stringing a really nice session together. Here is Balog coming to the line in the red number 30, or red and yellow should I say. Yellow on the side pods, red in the middle. Does he improve? He does improve, 14.2. So Fadani now has got to find around about 0.6 of a second from his best, and almost a full 10th from what he did last time around to get back onto row 2. It's Riley Motorsports from Andretti Autosports, 74 from 36, then the 54 of John Bennett in the Flexbox Core Autosport car. The 4th Ligier is the Junior 3 racing car. That's the yellow with the red centre section down into Moss Corner now for Ari Balog. Then the AWA, black and yellow, Duquesne, number 13, and then Lance Wilsey for Sean Creech Motorsport in the Stars and Stripes 33. Here's Andretti to the line. Black, white and highlighted green. Jared Andretti goes back to pole position by nearly 0.3 of a second. Well, that was a statement lap, Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? He was clearly given the hurry-up sign there from the pit wall, and he has responded. So, yeah, 1:13.103 for Jared Andretti. His fastest time this morning, 1:13.7. So it's a good improvement of more than half a second on his morning's practice time. So good effort there by Jared Andretti, and looking to get another pole position in this car to add to the one he got earlier in the season.
Really like these quick fire 15-minute sessions. Here comes Robinson to the line. Does he improve? He does not. In the blue and bright.
No, fractionally.
Fractionally, yes.
Yeah.
Very tight.
Yeah, 1:13.400 that last lap for Gar. The previous lap for 1:13.388. So just 0.12 of a second between those 2 laps for the number 74 car.
John Bennett into the pits will be no better than 3rd for the number 54 Core Autosport car. Underneath the Chevrolet bridge then for Gar Robinson in that number 74. Clips down through the paddleship gearbox into the Moss set of bends. Moss hairpin now onto the back straight. Lets that big V8 push him along. He's got the Sean Creech Motorsport car of Lance Wilsey right ahead of him. Hopefully Lance will see him and not hold him up through turn 8 for Lance. Here comes the 2nd place car at the moment and turns in. Absolutely brilliant looking front end through turn 8. Really pointy that car, and the rear is following it through. That's a very nicely set up Riley LMP3 car to the line. Robinson improves and splits the difference down to 0.75 of a second, 0.072, but will get this lap he'll get this lap, but this is his last lap. So Lance Wilsey now needs to keep an eye over his shoulder.
Yep, Lance himself did improve last time around, so he's getting faster and faster as well. Gar Robinson went purple in the first sector on that last lap, but now Jared Andretti is still on the racetrack, and he has improved again at the No, he hasn't improved again at the front, but he did go purple in the middle sector.
Yes.
Jared Andretti, and he has got one more lap to go as well. But Ari Balog improved last time around now. He's only less than half a tenth of a second behind John Bennett, currently in the 4th position. That's car number 30 at Ari Balog.
That could swap him from one side to another, and that's exactly what happens as he goes past the finishing line this time. A 1:13.8 for Balog for Junior 3 Racing, so he swaps sides on row 2, and he does have one more lap. This is the last lap for Jared Andretti. It's the last lap for Gar Robinson. Robinson coming to the end of the lap now, just coming to turn 10.
14.6 was this morning's best time for Ari Balog, so big improvement there. Checkered flag is out, so this is the last lap for each of the drivers. Gar Robinson first across there, he did not improve.
No, he lifted off.
Yeah, he did. I think he was trying to get cool the tyres a little bit and go for one more lap, but that's not going to happen. Looks like Ari Balog might have lifted off as well. But that was a really fine effort by Ari there to get up into that 3rd position. Here's
Jared Andretti coming through, and he does not improve. Didn't need to. He's 13.102. I mean, he's only a tenth and a half away from his best time. So out on the circuit and still running is Lance Wilsey and Ori Fadani. Ori in the 13 AWA should be coming to the line shortly. And Ari Balog pits in the number 30, and Ori Fadani has taken the checkered flag, didn't improve, he'd lifted off, and also peeling off into the pits, right-handed Lance Wilsey in the Stars and Stripes number 33. Another stunning livery for that car. Has almost went back to his pit box. He's got to drive straight down the fast lane. Congratulations to Andretti Autosport. So unofficially and subject to post-qualifying scrutineering tech, the gap is 0.072. That was a great scrap, Jeremy.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it? Really good effort by both of those two. Second pole position of the season for Jared Andretti. He was also on the pole at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So hats off to him for that. But that was a great run, particularly by Ari Balog. Big improvement there between sessions. And he's only, well, he's 7/10 of a second off of Jared Andretti. For somebody who started racing really only a couple or 3 years ago, that's a really good improvement in that Junior 3 racing car number 30 for Ari Balog. But it is Jared Andretti once again on the pole position.
They'll be looking, Jeremy, for a somewhat better weekend than they had at Watkins Glen. They seem to have a lot of bad luck, although still got a decent finish when all was said and done, when the results were called. I think they were in and out of the pits for a couple of...
what, number 36?
Yes.
Yeah, but they got, I think they got, was one of the teams, they had
they
a
got
problem
hit
after the race.
Drive time, yes, absolutely right. Longer race, of course, just gives you the opportunity to recover. So Jared out of the car. She'll be down there in a second to have a word with him. Earlier in GTD, the Pro Class car was the quickest, and that was Mathieu Jaminet for local favourites Pfaff Motorsports in the Porsche 911 GT3R, the plaid driveway number 9, ahead of the best of the GTD non-pros. That was the Vassar Sullivan Lexus, the yellow and black number 12. Frankie Montecalvo telling anybody who wants to know, and even people who didn't, that this is one of his favourite tracks, if not his favourite. And he backed that up with a really stunning run to pole position there. As far as GTD Pro, it was Harter Racing in second, and BMW Team RLL behind the Aston Martin in third, with Corvette in fourth. Then the Lexus, the rebuilt Lexus number 14, remember, after Ben Barnegat had the problem at exit at turn 3 early in the morning. They were in fifth, and sixth was Cooper McNeil in the WeatherTech Racing Mercedes number 79. In GTD, behind Frankie Montecalvo and the Lexus number 12, Roman De Angelis, Harter Racing, and Paul Miller Racing's BMW in third position. So have a word with Jared Andretti for Andretti Autosport. Pole position in the Ligier number 36 for LMP3.
We were just talking about how risky and high pressure this track is, Jared. Getting a pole position here means something a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this place, we did the track walk a couple days ago, and, you can't see turn 2, you can't see turn 4, you just hope there's something on the other side there, And so to come here, nobody really got to test, so this is kind of the first time in a prototype here, so it's really nice to be on pole, and then hopefully we can have a good solid race tomorrow and finish one of these off.
It was a great battle with Gar out there in qualifying. Was the team keeping you alerted to what was going on, and do you have more in the car should you need it?
They just said you need a couple tenths here, and we were up a couple other laps as well. I just kind of messed up here and there, so I think there's more in it. It's just got to get extracting at every sector all the time, which is difficult to do here because it's so high risk and very low reward sometimes. But you gotta press that to get the lap time out of it. So all in all, feels really good, and we made some changes and they're nice. So we'll carry it into tomorrow.
Congrats on today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Question was going to be now, Jeremy, do they have a good race car? They'll start at the front of the field with Gar Robinson alongside, and that should be an interesting run down to turn 1 and turn 2 for the two Ligiers, respectively, from Andretti Autosport and Riley Motorsport. If we get that in the first stint, as close as we've had in qualifying, we'll be seeing an awful lot of that on IMSA TV.
We will indeed, and I think the number 54 car is super strong in race trim, particularly with Colin Brown at the wheel. He was fastest in, I think, both of the practice sessions so far this weekend. I lie, Garrett Grist was quickest in the first one, but Colin Brown was quickest in the second one, and he's had a lot of success here. He and John Bennett in that core Autosport team. They won the old PC category back in 2015 and 16 here. They also won overall in 2018 as well in the Orica Gibson LMP2 car. So, they've had a lot of success here and looking strong for the race. But that was a great run by Jared Andretti and Andretti Autosport. And I think it's going to be, once again, another exciting race in LMP3 come tomorrow afternoon.
Shea Adam is striding purposefully up the pit lane, has just passed the Konica Minolta Acura, is now up alongside the number 60 Maya Shank racing car, and she's checking to see who is belted in to these cars for the final 15-minute session. Shea, you've passed the two Acuras.
Ricky Taylor and Tom Blomqvist in those two Acuras. So Meyer Shank Racing going for a second consecutive pole position with Tom Blomqvist. Ricky Taylor, the leading pole sitter in DPI, looking to try and extend that a bit further. In the Cadillac Racing entries, the 02, Alex Lynn, looking for his first podium. And ooh, I'm intrigued because the 01 has yellow on the helmet, but it also has blue, so that means it's Sebastian Bourdais. First time racing at CTMP. He's given qualifying duties, and he's already put it on pole, 3 times so far this year? In the other Cadillac entries, the Whalen Cadillac is Olivier Pla, race winner here back in 2014. And for the number 5 Mustang sampling Cadillac, 2 options. We've got Tristan Vautier and Richard Westbrook. It's Tristan Vautier.
Thank you, Shea. Very interesting. A hard man to argue against putting behind the wheel anytime, Sebastian Bourdais, in all of that, however much or however little experience he has at this track in this machinery, Jeremy. He's been on a pretty solid run of form recently.
Yeah, it certainly has, and 4 poles he's already had this season. Records at Sebring, Long Beach, and Detroit, also on the pole at Mid-Ohio. So he is the man in qualifying. Out of the 7 races, 4 poles for that number 01 car. I don't know, it's a tall order here. Once again this morning, it was the Acuras that were quickest. First and second, indeed, were the 2 Acuras. But on Friday in that first session, the Sebastian Bourdais in the Cadillac actually equaled the fastest time that was set by Tom Blomqvist in the Acura. 1:05.7 was a quick time on Friday in the first session. This morning, though, the ante upped considerably by Ricky Taylor. 1:04.919, the fastest time this morning. So Ricky Taylor certainly has to be the odds-on favourite, I think, for the pole position, but don't count any of the others out just yet.
We talk about cars suiting tracks and different chassis, different engines, different aero configurations, even with these DPIs, which are there's not unfettered development on these cars, but there are certain types of tracks that suit these two chassis a little better, and the fast flowing medium and high speed corners tend to be more Acura friendly, where the point and squirt, big braking, lots of torque through slow corners, that tends to be more the bailiwick, if you will, of the Cadillac with the bigger engine.
Yeah, you know, it's and this season a slight change of philosophy in the balance of performance for the IMSA technical team. They're trying to make sure the cars are even closer at every track. You know, we always talk about horses for courses, or some tracks tend to suit some of the cars slightly better than the others. But I mean, there was never much to choose between the Acura and the Cadillac. But the last couple of weekends, the Acura has had maybe a very, very slight edge. It's been tight, but the Acura has had a slight edge, and they've taken advantage of that. But in the manufacturer championship in DPI, it's still really close. Just 37 points in between. The Acura leads the Cadillac by just 37 points, which with this new point system is not very much indeed. There's a 30-point swing just on between, well, there's only two manufacturers, so there's 30-point swing either way at each race, plus another 3-point swing in qualifying as well. So it is super tight out there, and I think will remain so for the rest of these final 3 races of the year.
Just a couple of cars going out as the green flag was raised, or was waved, and that was Ricky Taylor for Cunningham and Alta Acura. No chance of the weather intervening here. 24 Celsius in the air, and that equates to 75 Fahrenheit, 32. No, that can't be right. 81 Fahrenheit on track, which is 27 there. So this is pretty. I tell you what, there's just been a little bit of cloud cover over the sun. Now the sun's back out again. What are we looking for the all-time record here, Jeremy, in terms of the times we're looking for? Was it it was the Dindo Capello time, wasn't it?
Indeed, yeah, the all-time sports car record here, 1:04.094. I don't think we're going to get close to that here. Cloud cover would certainly help, but they're already into the 4s for the first time this morning. The official qualifying lap record for DPI, 1:05.452. That stands to Colin Brown back in 2019. We haven't been here, of course, since 19. So yeah, that's going to go probably on the first flying lap for these guys, or maybe the second. But 1:40. That's going to be tight. But the old race lap record around here was also set in the Audi R10 TDI by Marco Werner. That was at 1:05.8. So we're already, that's going to go this weekend. The race lap record for DPI, a 1:06.0. That was by Oliver Jarvis in 2019.
In the Mazda RTP 74, presumably.
Indeed.
Right. Yes. Very good. I still have to keep pinching myself to remind everybody and remind everybody just how quick these DPIs are, and still have to remind everybody what a different package these cars are from what we were seeing with those multi tens of millions, hundreds of millions of euros, dollars, whatever financial unit you want to count them in, was being thrown at it by the manufacturers in those days, be it Audi or Peugeot or whoever was playing at the time that you're talking about. And these are effectively customer racing cars and a development of an LMP2 chassis with a little bit more freedom in aero and a little bit more freedom in suspension in particular, and engine choice obviously. But this is a really cost-effective way to get very close and very fast motor racing. When we're talking about a couple of tenths of a second here and there, it does seem to me that IMSA have really nailed this, and I can't wait to see the goodies that get turned out for GTP when we see them properly on the track for the Raw before the 24th next January. All right, well, not anywhere near where we are supposed to be just yet, but it'll take a couple of laps to get the Michelin tyres up to temperature and pressure. Ooh, little wiggle going down the hill for the number 32 from 31, excuse me, from turn 2. And that's the Whelen Cadillac, and that's Ollie Pla. A 1:05.857 first flying lap for Ollie Pla.
Yeah, which is fractionally outside the all-time lap record around here for sports cars, Marco Werner, back in 2008 in that multi-million, as you say, Audi R10. So that shows how quickly these cars are going.
Yeah, very good indeed from Ollie Pla. Loves a qualifying run. And just starting to get a few more cars coming out. Tristan Fortier in the number 5 JDC Miller. That's the dark grey with gold. Number 5, the 60, which is the pink and white Meyershank racing car. And there's Ricky Taylor to the top.
Here we go.
1:04.658. I'll let you see it, Jeremy.
Stunning. New qualified lap record for DPI by over 3/4 of a second on his first push lap. Great lap there for Ricky Taylor. That already then 3/10 quicker than he went this morning as well.
And that will not be quick enough. I'll tell you that now. 1:05.1 for Ollie Pla last time around. Can any of the Acuras get close to, in particular, the 0-1 of Sebastian Bourdais? Alex Lynn has come out in the 0-2, so both of the Cadillac Racing Chip Ganassi cars are out on the circuit now as well.
Inside 10 minutes, so they're just going here for wait for a little bit of rubber to get laid down. They were hoping for a bit of cloud cover. It didn't seem to be materialised. So we've got a few more wispy clouds around. Dan were the case this morning, but I don't think there's going to be any cloud cover during this session. So the conditions are about as good as they're going to get now, and 1:05.4 slower that time for Olivier Pla. So he's not going to be challenging for the pole position, I don't think. But what can Tom Blomqvist, Tom Blomqvist in the number 60 Acura, and specifically Sebastian Bourdais in the number 01 Cadillac do? That's going to be the big question here. Can they challenge Ricky Taylor?
Well,
faster again for Ricky Taylor, but only fractionally.
Oh, he's lost it! Oh, he saves it! At the second part of Moss, the squeal in protest from the Michelin tyres. Remember, that's the other thing that's different from the old Audi days. They were all confidential tyres and various different compounds. This is a standard tyre for everybody, and a huge Tokyo Drift moment in the second part of Moss Corner. For Ricky Taylor, I don't think he'll improve this time around. He got down to a 1:04.465 last time by. Here he comes now to the line. I suspect he's lost a couple of 3/10 as he goes across the line. Yeah, a couple of seconds, in fact. A 1:06.4, but managed to hold on to it and seems to be unbowed by that and continues on very quickly. Tristan Fortier is up into third position with a 1:07, but they'll get quicker. Nobody at the moment within half a second of Ollie Pla. Let's wait for Sebastian Bourdais, who is yet to put in a representative lap, maybe just bringing his tyres up to temperature and pressure in a different way. Remember the 0-1 and the 0-2, the two Cadillac Racing, the Chip Ganassi run cars were doing something very different. Bourdais goes across the line in a 1:08, that's not where that car's going to be. Alex Lynn in a 1:08, so they're doing something different in their qualifying run here with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
Well, let's not forget, of course, that was just the second lap for those two Cadillacs. They went out a good bit later than the other contenders. Tell you what, the Konica Minolta Acura, the turn in is sharp on that car, isn't it? Absolutely stunning, and I think he caught Ricky Taylor out just a little bit at turn 5 on the exit. The corner had a big snap in the middle of the corner, just after turn in, but that's a great lap, even so, by Ricky Taylor. I think that's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, Ricky Taylor then at 1:04.465. Now, has he got a gap ahead of him? Yes, he has. Coming to Moss Corner, the Cadillac across the line. Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, it was the 5th lap for Ricky Taylor that set that time, 1:04.465. Blomqvist and Bourdais. Blomqvist just completed his 3rd lap. Bourdais, his also just completed his third lap, so definitely more to come from those two. Tristan Vautier up into second position, and number 5 JDC Miller Motorsports entry, 104.895 for the Frenchman.
Still 5.5 minutes to go here, so there's plenty of time. And Ricky Taylor goes quicker still, 104.462.
What was that, 3 thousandths of a second? Was it 465 before? That's it. Yeah, super tight. Tom Blomqvist within just outside a couple of tenths, 104.697 then for Tom Blomqvist, up into second position ahead of Tristan Vautier on a 104.8. Let's see what Sebastian Bourdais can do. He was faster in each of the first two sectors than previously.
Blomqvist still trying to close that gap. My goodness, that number 60 Meyer Shank Racing car looks a handful for young Blomqvist. Second at the moment, what, 2 tenths away, but it's rattling him around in the cockpit there and jumping around as he goes into the braking area at turn 5 and as he comes out of it. But he's got good, I mean, we've only got 6 cars out on the track. That's great. There should be plenty of room between the cars through turn 8 now and to the end of the lap. Here's Blomqvist again, the back end of that car twitching around, and the young drivers' reflexes just putting in the corrective steering, and he goes to the top. Wow, a nervous car's often a fast car. 104.3.068 of a second ahead. Ricky Taylor's time has been equalled and bested, not by much, but it doesn't have to be by much. And Tom Blomqvist has found a sweet spot. It might not look comfortable, it probably isn't comfortable, and it's probably pretty scary from the inside because it's terrifying from the outside. But he's there and he's lost it at turn 5. He gets the big slide and goes off. Sideways moment, but just try to keep the momentum there, try to take a little too much into turn 5. So rather than in the middle part of it, that was actually coming in, maybe just clip the entry curb a tiny bit too heftily on the right hand side. So advantage to Meyer Shank Racing, Jeremy Shaw, with 3.5 to go.
Brilliant lap by Tom Blomqvist there. He is on the crest of a wave now in terms of his confidence to drive. There's a spin for Sebastian Bourdais. Yes, a spin for Sebastian Bourdais at that same corner, turn 5. Around the 0-1 car goes, so he's not going to be an improvement. And remarkably, Bourdais is 6th out of 6th at the moment. He's only 8 tenths off the fastest time, but it's a big surprise to see him so far back. Let's have a look and see what happened. Yeah, just same sort of thing, just carried a bit too much speed into the first corner. It is, of course, his first time here, as Sherry Adam reminds me, over the but still, he was fastest or equal fastest in the first session yesterday, so he tends to learn tracks pretty quickly. That's not a problem for Sebastian Bourdais. He's just that car, just trying to carry a little bit too much speed through the middle part of turn 5 there, John.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. Write that one down. With Sebastian Bourdais sitting in 6th, and he's got 2.5 minutes to put that right, and he will, no doubt. He'd just done his fastest first sector. Into the pit lane for Ricky Taylor. There's no more in the Wayne Taylor Racing Run Conningham and Alder Acura. So Tom Blomqvist staring at the pole position, and another interview with Shea Adam. Unless Tristan Vautier can find half a second, and that's a big ask in the JDC Miller Motorsport. Or can Sebastian Bourdais surprise us all? Lifting off Alex Lynn down the back straight. He's looking to just cool his tyres down. There's nobody in front of him. So he's got a bit of room to have a go. Ollie Pla, 7 tenths away from pole position, but only half a tenth. No, Lynn's into the pits. There'll be no improvement from Tristan Vautier and JDC Miller Motorsports Cadillac. For Alex Lynn, for the 02 Cadillac, Ollie Pla has to find half a tenth of a second to move forward onto the outside of row 2, and Sebastian Bourdais needs to find a couple of tenths to get in the mix. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go.
Further in the cap here, I think, for Tristan Vautier, number 5 team. They've struggled the last few races to be fastest of the Cadillacs as they are at the moment. That's a good effort by the Frenchman there to be in 3rd position, but they'll still be disappointed to be half a second away from that brilliant lap by Tom Blomqvist, who's also now into pits in that car number 60.
Yeah, no sense in taking any more life out of the Michelin tyres, because they are the tyres with which he will have to start the Chevrolet Grand Prix here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park tomorrow. We'll have it for you. Michelin Countdown to Green, live and exclusive on RS2, on 90.7 FM and on Sirius XM 207. Join us for flag-to-flag coverage. One more lap for Sebastian Bourdais. He's really hanging it out as he comes through the final corner with 23 seconds to go as he crossed the line. No improvement there for him, but he is now on his final effort. 105.299 against his 105.266.
Yeah,
Blomqvist
and he lost that in the
waiting.
final sector, John. He lost in the final sector because he was quickest, personal best in each of the first two sectors, but neither of them quick enough to get up ahead of even of Olivier Plas also into the pit lane. So what's remarkable about this the effort from Tom Blomqvist is that Ricky Taylor was fastest purple in sectors 1 and 2. So it was all in that final sector, the last three corners, 8, 9 and 10, that Blomqvist put enough time together to get that pole position.
Bourdais out of it. Bourdais lifted out.
Yeah. 6. That's a remarkable shock to see that Bourdais back in 6th position. He'll be very, very disappointed. He'll be quite vociferous, I think, after that one.
Watch out from the outside of row 3 at the start tomorrow, then, is all I'm going to say. That 01 white and black Cadillac racing machine run by Chip Ganassi Racing will be trying to move forward as early as possible. So, Jeremy, another pole position for Tom Blomqvist, the Brit with the Nordic background, and he's been ushered down to the end of pit lane for the formalities, and the AutoNation Sirius XM number 60, the Meyershank Racing with Curb Agajanian pink and white car, captures another pole position. Good for the team and good for Tom.
Yeah, 3rd pole position of the season for Acura. There was one for Ricky Taylor earlier in the year at Mid-Ohio, and then the last 2 events, this 2 in a week now, pole positions for Tom Blomqvist, a 29-year-old Englishman from Saffron Walden in the UK. Brilliant lap that was for Tom Blomqvist.
I do think we'll look back on that and really have to. I think we really have to appreciate what we've just seen there, Jeremy, from both Tom Blomqvist and from Ricky Taylor. 0.068 of a second. New high watermarks for DPIs in qualifying here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And to see those drivers duking it out as they did and putting half a second on a quality field is something that I think you and I will be talking about for a wee while to come, and I'm certain we're going to mention it in Michelin Countdown to Green again tomorrow, to be honest.
He'll be proud of that. We should be, Tom Blomqvist. That was a really, really fine effort. 104.394, full second faster than the old qualifying record for DPI cars, and within 3/10 of a second of that all-time lap by Dindo Capello, full boost, full everything, full beans back in 2008 on a fraction of the budget. So brilliant effort there by Tom Blomqvist and Meyershank Racing with Curb Agajanian.
A fraction of the budget, probably half the horsepower. In cars that are they're almost running the same sort of weight as they did then, just over 900 kilos, so that's pretty similar. Tyres are narrower and of a single standard rather than a mix and match set of compounds that were tailored individually to the manufacturers back in those days. Way less downforce as well, but the way that they attack the corners and go through, I know it's impossible to go back because we probably don't have the data, but I really wish I could see some of the corner data from the guys back then, because they were super quick down the straights. And I expect to see that these guys are not much different through the corners as the kind of commitment that we are seeing through turn 1, through turn 2, through turn 8. I do remember the LMP2 Porsche Spider, which ended up being a top-class car as well, of course, in DHL livery, talking to Romain Dumas and Timo Bernard. And Romain Dumas, in qualifying, was taking turn 8. He was turning into turn 8 absolutely flat. And it was only as he went through the apex that he started to scrub off speed for turn 9. and that was, to me, that was totally shocking. I don't think we're a million miles off that now when we saw the way people were attacking Turn 8 at the at the end of the Mario Andretti straight. Shea Adam then has, I'm sure, a very happy, very content Tom Blomqvist, pole sitter for the Chevrolet Grand Prix tomorrow.
And as you can imagine, big eyes from Tom getting a pole position here. It's a bit like getting a pole position in Watkins Glen. Oh, wait, you did that too. How hard were you pushing, particularly in the third sector, because that was where you went purple?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was absolutely everything I had. I wasn't sure I was going to survive the session, to be honest. I had quite a few hairy moments, especially the first couple of corners. Was really struggling with the car. But yeah, I just had to close my eyes and just be very, very brave. But our car's been super good in the last sector all weekend. You know, it's really suiting our package. But we still need to tune it up a bit to make our life a little bit easier in the race, and you know, just give us a bit more confidence to keep that level maintained, because we've got 2 hours and 40 minutes of racing tomorrow. But no, I'm really happy. I'm really grateful for the boys and girls, you know, at MSR who have, you know, given us these packages the last few weekends. So tomorrow we have to convert it.
Jeremy said, comparing this to the lap record time, you went full beans. You went and obliterated the lap record that the Audi set way back when. How good is it now that, as a race fan, you've now reached those speeds?
Well, I think it's just testament to these cars. You know, obviously they're a few generations old now, but you know, we're just getting them faster and faster. We've improved this package so much since the start of the season, and I think that's really starting to show now on track. So I got to thank, you know, the team as well, myself and Ollie, you know, pushing the guys in the direction that we feel like is needed, and obviously that's starting to translate into into a quick race car. So, but yeah, I mean, around here this is a high commitment track, and you know, these first couple of corners are insanely quick. It's very bumpy as well, so the car is quite, let's say, snappy. If you get that wrong, it's going to be a big one. I nearly lost the car actually at basically the slowest corner on track. But
Turn 5, yeah, we saw that.
That was a close one. I thought I was gone there, but anyway, we survived.
Congrats on today. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.